What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today I just kind of wanted to go over some similar stuff as to what I went over in yesterday's video, and just kind of have a couple of more things to highlight as far as the current status of grinding in my account and stuff. So let's go ahead and jump into my box and take a look here. Okay, so I have been reorganizing my tags. I historically had like a pretty solid, perfect tag setup, that I was using for a while. But obviously with the reverse removal update, I did need to create some new space for more tags because, I was keeping track of different pools of units at this point, right? So, previously, a long time ago, I had, I guess we could open up the... like this. Okay, there we go. So yeah, previously I had, so I have kind of a lot of the same tags, but some of them were different here. So on top of having like the team building and the leaders and then the workshop, we also had specifically a link level tag because it was, the workshop was mainly meant to be for any units that needed to be worked on, any units that needed to be, farm medals for them to get them awakened, whatever it may be, super attack farming them and stuff. And then I had a separate tag for specifically units that were fully farmed up, ready to go, but needed to be link leveled, right? That way, anytime I was going to link level a unit, I just go straight into the link level box, grab a unit out, and then I can keep going. But now that we've reached the point where everything in my box is already link leveled, and the only units that will need to be link leveled are new units that I acquire, it makes sense to just have the workshop be that one place. For anything that is not a fully finished, fully link level 10 unit, they just sit in the workshop. So I was able to get rid of a tag for that. I also previously had a tag for 9s, so any units that had only level 9 and level 10 links, I did since get rid of that tag as well. There were a lot of units filling up that tag when I was getting close to finishing every unit in my box, and then I spent a bunch of the keys for the guaranteed link level event to finish out all of those units, and I basically fully depleted the amount of keys that I had, and I have no more units that are at all 9s. So I did get rid of the tag for a short amount of time, just because it was temporarily empty. I was using it for the box showcase that I just did last week or a couple weeks ago. And, I replaced it with, like, all my rainbow units, so I could show off, like, all the rainbow units I had in there and stuff, right? So I had moved those things around a little bit, but since then, you can see we've got this tag in the middle here called the 800. So this one is meant specifically to reflect the 800 units that were forcibly awakened in my account, so that I can help myself track which ones I have recollected and replaced the SSR copies of, since they have all been, awakened and kind of destroyed, as far as me collecting the one in every slot for every unit, right? So that is a new tag that we've got. Now, another one that I just created here is called Dokkan Lineage. So this is how I'm keeping track of the one in every slot for every unit here. This is literally just the first copy that I get of every single unit in every, like I said, every slot. So every single awakening stage that they can possibly have. And then any units that are duplications are not included in this. And then free to play and world tournament haven't moved as well. Those are what they always have been, right? Free to play, I will mention, does not include dupes either, so it's all just the full Dokkan Lineage. Basically, free to play is fully already represented in Dokkan Lineage, and then free to play itself is the exact same thing as Dokkan Lineage. It just doesn't include anything summonable. It's only free to play cards, right? So yeah, this is basically the tag setup that I've got at this point. So, something that I noticed here was after building the Dokkan Lineage, going through my box unit by unit and just selecting the, the lineages of every single unit here, I did notice that there are quite a few LRs now that technically count as being a part of, the lineage because, maybe they were once a TUR or an SSR and then they've been awakened to LR. But like right here, you can see as an example, so it looks like what happened was prior to the update, we had this guy fully EZA'd, the top copy finished, and then we had a TUR copy and an SSR copy. Now, both of these copies have been awakened all the way up here to LR, but that means that one of them is still usable for me as the un-EZA'd copy, right? So one of them is still on Dokkan Lineage and is still a valid unit in my box that doesn't count as just like some random dupe. The problem is, all of the units that I have farmed up to be the TURs and SSRs, I never bothered to SA20 them, because I knew I was going to be reversing them back, and then they would be maxed out at their SA10 down here. So all of these LRs that have been affected by this are all SA 10 out of 20. So yeah, that just was an unfortunate discovery that I realized, like, okay, I guess I need to SA farm these guys, right? And, you know, previously, prior to the update, this would have been basically absolutely impossible to do, and I would have just had to use Kais on all of these. But because of the update, and the way that, you know, this works with, like, same-named characters and stuff being able to farm in previous iterations of units, as well as the percentages being realigned and stuff, now it's very, very reasonable to be able to free-to-play farm a lot of these, right? So, like, obviously a unit like Vegeta and Trunks, any of the ones that have these weird names all the way through, we're not going to be able to take advantage of, unfortunately. But there are quite a few, like this one, for example, is just Vegeta, right? So we've just farmed up some Vegetas that we're going to be able to feed into these guys. And then, actually, if we take a look here, I have already farmed them up. Take off LR. Yeah, so we have 18 of these Vegetas here. There's two different cards, two different LRs that have just a base Vegeta that we need. So we have 18, so it'll be 9 each. Oh, wait, actually, that's not enough. I just realized I need to get 2 more, because it is actually 10 total super attack levels that we'll need for each of those. So I'll continue farming those a little later. But yeah, so there are quite a few in here that, you know, work out to being able to be farmed. This one was one that kind of surprised me. A little bit funny that you can actually farm his super attack now, because of the free-to-play LR, right? So obviously what we're looking at here, the reason why this works is because the SSR for this unit is just Gohan and Goten, and the TUR for this unit is just Gohan and Goten. That's the only reason why it works, but you can actually use him for SA food. So we have gone and farmed up some of these guys. We're going to go ahead and be able to feed in there. Again, we're still working on it, still in the middle of it, haven't fully finished yet. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at with that. So yeah, as frustrating as it was, you know, in my last video that I made yesterday, I was pretty convinced that I was basically done with all of this side farming and that I was about to get back to link leveling, and then I discovered this, right? Now, this is just the Dokkan lineage, so again, these are just all of the real copies of units that I want to keep, but there are still a bunch more as well. Let's see here. So, if we literally just go... Yeah, I guess we can just do this. So you can see there are quite a few. Okay, obviously we have all like the dupe ones as well. Those don't really count. But yeah, there's so many different LRs in here, and you're seeing like these big duplications of a bunch of these because a lot of them are actually just useless dupe copies for me at this point. So I'm probably not going to worry about SA20ing all of those random duped ones, but definitely all of the ones here on the Dokkan lineage I do plan to get finished up. So I'll handpick out of here and grind what I can. I want to say I'm a solid about halfway done with this list, as far as like the, you know, having super attack grinded and stuff, like this guy for instance, right? We've got the free-to-play physical sign of UI Goku here, so we'll just have to awaken all these guys up to the SSR so they'll feed in for a 50% chance. That type of stuff. So then once we're finished with all of that, there is going to be a handful of these units that we can purchase in the shop as well, which I think I do want to do in this video here today. So we're going to need to go ahead and look through here and see which of these we can purchase in the shop, and then go ahead and like pull the trigger on that. Okay, so actually, I think what we're going to do is we'll start at the top of this list, and then we're going to go all the way through these. I am going to start feeding Kais, because let's see, how many units do we have here? This is like 20 here, 40. Okay, so it's like almost 50. It's 49 units, it's looking like. Which means essentially if I just spent Kais fully, it would just be... Let's see. It would be like 490 Kais. Okay, so it's basically all the Kais that I have. But that's if we were to just use SA on every single one of them, and that's not what we plan to do, right? Because quite a few of these do have farmable super attacks, and then again, we're going to be able to buy some in the shop. So let's go ahead and start feeding in SA for ones that we know we're just going to have to use Kais on. So Vegeta and Trunks. Oh, this is actually going to get so annoying having to toggle on and off the LR sorting there. Oh, and I guess they're all max level, so I'll take off the training location as we do this too. Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep going like this, but this is good. It's gonna make it easier because this list is gonna start getting smaller and smaller as we do this, right? Okay, so we've got God Goku and Hit. Okay, perfect. Take that off. Go. Alright, so yeah, I'm definitely not too bent about doing this. Oh, and then this is good, because every time we take off the LR tag, we're going to see all the units available here. So if there ever is one that can be super attack farmed, because I own every single unit in the game, in every single Awakening iteration, as far as free-to-play is concerned, I will know if it's free-to-play farmable, because I'll see it right here. So we're never going to be able to botch that one, which is good, based on doing it this way, right? Okay. So he's got farmable, that Frieza's farmable, UI Goku is unfortunately not, just because he's never sign of UI, he's only the maxed out UI there. But yeah, after we finish doing this, we are going to be decently low on Kais, but that is totally fine, because I'm not really obtaining too many new units nowadays. I basically don't really even summon anymore, either, so that kind of makes it a little bit easier not to have to worry about Kais. And I'm sure we'll still have a good chunk extra. The only reason that this could potentially be problematic for me to do is because we have the crossover celebration coming in a very, very short time here. Probably like less than a month. And, you know, historically that was basically fully focused around Heroes, which obviously it won't be now, because Heroes had the, you know, discontinuation of Heroes has been announced. They did announce last year that that was the very last Heroes celebration we were going to be getting. Though they did let us know that all of the existing Heroes characters that are in-game will eventually get EZAs. They do still plan to roll out the EZAs for all the characters that they have released, which means it is likely that we're still going to see some Heroes representation and whatnot in the crossover celebration. And in fact, it points to the likelihood that there will be a crossover celebration, right? Okay, so we've got Nappa there, Broly there. I believe the only one that feeds in here is the Friend Summon LR, which I do not have the luxury of being able to obtain in mass quantities, because I am decently low on friend points. And in fact, the last of the free-to-play units I need to collect are the Friend Summon LRs, but I need 10 copies of each to be able to get the SSR and the TUR both rainbowed for all three of them, and I do not have near enough friend points to even accomplish that, so definitely wouldn't have enough to be able to farm more of them for SA, right? Definitely not going to happen. Okay, Kale and Caulifla. This one is, again, not farmable. So yeah, with a potential crossover celebration on the way, you know, we don't know what the full details of it are going to look like, right? I just am thinking from the standpoint, all we know that's guaranteed to happen is Heroes units EZAing. That's what everyone has been looking forward to. That's what everyone is assuming is going to go down. But obviously that's not enough hype on its own to carry a celebration. You need new units. What's the brand new release going to be? What's the summonable content going to be, right? Because it's not like they're just going to release, you know, an EZA banner for units that we most people have already obtained and stuff. There's got to be something more premium. So, obviously, like, one of the things that could go down is, you know, maybe the series that replaced Heroes, Dragon Ball Super Divers, that became the new popular arcade game in Japan. Maybe we'll just get a Dragon Ball Super Divers celebration, and then ultimately it's kind of a fake out, because it's like they told us that they're going to be done with Heroes, but ultimately it's just because Heroes is done, and we're going to be immediately replacing it with Super Divers, which is effectively the exact same thing again. Just a new iteration of the game and stuff. So it's very possible that that could be the case, and then essentially it's just going to feel like a Heroes celebration again, right? It wouldn't really feel any different to experience a Super Divers celebration. So that is very possible. And if that is true, or if we get a Xenoverse collab, or if we get a Fighters collab, or if we get a Gexhin Squadra collab, or something, anything like that, right? There's plenty of options, Sparking Zero even. Then it is likely that we obtain some units that don't have names in Dokkan, right? Maybe like things with Xeno parentheses at the end, or we get, you know, Shallot, or just Gohan Black. Like, there's a million different options that they could do for some type of crossover celebration. The main point I'm trying to highlight here, though, is that it's likely that the units that get added will be brand new names, and that means that I would need to use Elder Kais. And if it is going to be anything reflectant of how the hero celebrations have been historically, then basically that means that we can expect multiple new units with brand new names that we've never seen before in the game, which potentially means that you're going to need to shell out hundreds of Kais, which has happened to me before during Heroes celebrations. So if that is the case, then I am definitely shooting myself in the foot doing what I'm doing right now. And I will probably be fighting and struggling for a little bit to re-obtain enough Kais to kind of keep up with what's going on in the box. But aside from that celebration, again, I'm really not worried about it for the main reason that I don't really summon anymore. I have, cut back on my spending on this game like 99%. For full transparency, so you can understand the gravity of what I'm explaining to you here. At my peak, I was spending $800 a month on Dokkan. That was at my very, very peak. I did that. I withheld that for almost a year straight in like 2023, 2024. And since then, I have gone down to basically only buying the monthly stone pack. And that's about it. And then here and there during major celebrations, I'll pick up some ticket packs. And that's basically all I'm purchasing now. So... yeah, I basically just miss out on every single new unit that comes out. So I don't really need Kais for because I don't have a bunch of new units flooding into my box that way as I once did, right? Okay, so let's see, where are we at here? We've got Tien, Bojack is purchasable. We've already farmed that one. This is Goku Black would be farmable. Okay, he would not be. Let's see. Yeah, it's all just summonable SRs. Okay. We'll use these. I probably should find a moment to throw in some of those dozing Kais as well, just to finish them off since we've got a few more there. Okay, Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta are definitely going to need Kais. Yeah, we'll throw in 10 of these real quick. And then we'll just finish it up with Kais. We'll just keep doing that on every single one until we're out of the dozing Kais. Okay. 4 more of those. Okay, we're doing decent. It was hard to gauge just looking at the full list of them to know, exactly how many of these were going to be, we're going to be farmable with super attack and stuff like that. But yeah, I think we're doing all right. I think we're still going to have a decent surplus of Kais here. Basically, none of those went through. Let's do this again. Oh, none went through again. Okay, perfect. Let's drain 10. Surely we'll get a good luck one. I was going to do all 13 there. Likely we won't even be out at SA20 after. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Oh, perfect. We can just throw the rest in right here. And then that is donezo. All right. Man, the rates on those are so bad, I swear. Okay, there we go. All right, let's see about how many we got left here. Okay, Rose is gonna need... oh. No. Yeah, Rose definitely needs Kais. I was thinking of the Rose clones, but they have clone in their name, so that doesn't actually count. Okay, so we've got these guys done. Okay, next was Vegeta. That one's good. We should be able to farm this Boo, right? Actually not, because it's Boo tanks. That does kind of hurt, huh? Because he's the same name all the way down. Yeah. Okay, that is a little bit rough. Yeah, it looks like it's just summonable units here as well. Okay. But yeah, I thought it would be mildly important to get this on video since we are going to use such a massive amount of Kais here, right? And then we are going to go spend some incredible gems as well and pick up any of the units from the shop that we can use to farm super attack for these guys as well. We will get to that momentarily once we finish up this part of the procedure. Okay, full power Frieza. Unfortunately, nothing farmable there yet. With this new update, this actually kind of calls some attention to the fact that, you know, previously, prior to the update, it was true that there were quite a few units that in-game that didn't yet have farmable super attacks, like Full Power Frieza being a perfect example of that type of unit. Kid Buu being like another example, right? But I think it's even more important now that we just unlocked an entire world of the game. There's hundreds of units now, these LRs, that are going to be able to, you know, be utilized for farmable super attacks and stuff. So I think it's going to be a little bit more important even to get some of these premium named characters some free-to-play farmable options, right? And quite a few of them are obviously benefiting from that, as you can see as we're going through this list, but there still are quite a few that don't have anything, right? Yeah, Janemba, another perfect example, right? But yeah, so basically the way that they've been doing it now, my point here is that it makes more sense than ever for them to try and do this stuff because we're dealing with a new system that makes it easier than ever to cover multiple names of units. All they have to be diligent about is when they release new free-to-play cards, make it so that the free-to-play card has a different name at SSR and at TUR. Release a free-to-play Fat Janemba that Dokkan awakens into a Super Janemba, and then it doesn't matter whether you're trying to feed SA for any type of Janemba, we've got a free-to-play card that covers it, right? So I think it would be wise if they started to do that kind of thing in the future. Right, like making a Sign of UI Goku. Starts at Goku, goes Sign of UI, and then goes, like, full Mastered UI, so that any of those named units would be available, right? Oh, this is a Broly, I'm silly. Yeah, any of the Brolys we can skip, right? Basically, all of them are going to have farmable super attacks. We'll double-check for compliance, but I'm pretty sure... I am pretty sure we'll be fine there. Yeah, so I'll need to farm up double of those since we've got the 2... Okay, and then Vegito has purchasable super attack. We can buy those in the shop. God Goku definitely has farmable. This is the example unit they used for the update, right? This is base Goku in base, so he'll have a farmable super. Majin Vegeta shouldn't, though. He's just Majin Vegeta all the way through. Yeah, this is another unit they really need to add something free-to-play for. I mean, technically we have this guy. He is purchasable with the Ultimate Clash currency, but obviously you're never going to spend Ultimate Clash currency on SA food. That would be the worst possible idea. Alright. Let's see. Kaioken Goku's got farmable. Golden Frieza's got farmable. Bardock has farmable. Jackie Chun, yes. This Gohan should as well, right? Oh, he actually has a purchasable unit. Yeah, we're going to buy copies of this guy for him. Okay. And then... Alright, we're getting there. Tao does not have anything farmable. His are just summonable SRs, yeah. Okay, so we'll go ahead and throw these into Tao. Perfect. Okay, Piccolo's good, and then Super Saiyan Goku, obviously. Okay, great. So all of these units here, we're either going to be able to farm or purchase copies of. So really quick, let's glance through here and see which ones we need to buy copies of in the shop. It shouldn't be very many. As we were going through, I only noticed like 2 or 3. Okay, so we have Yamcha. We're going to need to get 10 copies of Yamcha. Bojack will be the second one. Vegito. Okay, so Yamcha, Bojack, Vegito, and Gohan. Okay, so Yamcha, Bojack, Vegito, Gohan. Oh, Piccolo and the Super Saiyan Gokus as well. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yamcha, Bojack, Vegito, Gohan, Piccolo, 2 Super Saiyan Gokus. Okay, let's send it. We're gonna go ahead and grab 10 copies of each of those. Obviously 20 for Super Saiyan Goku, and then we'll be well on our way there. Okay. So we'll come over here. We are going to have to buy probably some more incredible gems from this side. I don't think that we're going to have enough with just the 50. Oh, wait. 500. I'm silly. These are exchanging 1-to-1. Let's go ahead and go for, like, a solid 70,000. I don't want to be below 200 on this side, so let's just go 72. Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay, there we go. Okay, 126. Surely this should be enough. Bardock was there, right? So we could buy 10 Bardocks. I think that was another one I marked as farmable because I was thinking the free-to-play farmable unit, but kind of makes sense that you could just straight up buy them too, right? That is pretty neat. Okay, 10 Vegetos here. These are the expensive boys, obviously. The most expensive of any we got there. Oh, I wonder if this Trunks teen... Oh, no, because he's not future. Okay. Who else? We had Bojack. Yamcha. 20 Super Saiyan Gokus. 10 Piccolos. And 10 of these Gohans. Okay, perfect. There we go. So now we have gotten SA for all of these guys. Obviously, I'm going to need to go awaken all of those units off camera. That's going to take me a little while, and then I'll feed into here, and then finish up my grinding for some of the super attack farms that I still need to do for the rest of these units. I want to say there's like probably 7, 8, something like that left out of what I've already done. Plus those like straggler copies that you saw we needed to get a couple extra of. So there we go. That's what I'm going to be spending the rest of my day doing. But I did definitely want to update. This all probably should have been a part of yesterday's video. But considering we've spent another 25 minutes rambling about this stuff, I'm kind of glad that we decided to make this its own separate thing, right? So yeah, just one more layer deep in grinding here that we have gotten. But yeah, very, very soon, that is all going to be done, and then we will be right back to link leveling. Okay, so another thing I want to cover here, this may be the last thing, I'm going to have to rack my brain for a moment, but another thing I want to cover here is the box. I did mention this earlier, the tag for the 800. So it started at, it was almost 800 units. It was actually 776 total, or 778, one of the two, and so what I did was, after finishing re-farming all the SSR copies for every free-to-play unit in the game, I went back through here, and I removed all the free-to-play units. All of the units that have been, replaced. Every unit that's had another unit, like, put in its place, I got rid of the, out of the 800. In fact, this guy should be gone, right? Because he... Oh, no, I'm sorry. He's still sitting because we haven't replaced these. That's why. Okay, yeah. Makes sense. But yeah, so basically every other free-to-play unit in the game I took off this list because we've already replaced the SSR. So basically what I do plan to do with this box here is hold all of these units where they're at, and then, as we are able to obtain a new copy and replace their lower iteration, then I'll remove the copy out of the box here, basically. It is kind of the idea. Now, I haven't done this perfectly yet. I think there are still some others that need to be removed. For instance, like, there are quite a few World Tournament units, because I did a pretty big batch of World Tournament summons. So I need to take off, like, this unit, for example, because I did pull the new SSR again for him. So yeah. The other thing that I was kind of struggling with the idea of is... So there's a couple of other different kinds of units in here, right? We've got these units right here. So this is a unit that got forcibly awakened and now is a dupe. He's sitting in here as a reminder that I need to recollect the SSR copy. But actually, okay. Let me, I'm getting ahead of myself explaining that one. Let me find a different example really quick. Probably gonna be something like, okay, like this. So... we previously had a Beerus up here, and then we had a Beerus at the SSR level. Because this Beerus has been awakened, he is still usable. This Beerus is still on Dokkan lineage, because he is part of the one in every slot. So do I remove him from the 800, because he's not technically like a unit that got ruined? But technically, I still do need to recollect the SSR copy. I don't own that artwork anymore, right? So I think... ideally, that's what I'm going to do, is just leave them in here, rather than removing them, even though it's still a usable unit itself, just as a reminder that I do need to replace the Beerus, just so we can kind of give ourselves a time frame of what this is looking like, how many years it's actually going to take us to fully replace all of these units in here, right? So, I think that's what I'm going to do, and then the other thing is, like, going back to that King Vegeta, keeping or replacing these units. Again, we do still need to recollect the SSR, but this kind of also doesn't count as a dupe, because he doesn't yet have an EZA, which means eventually when he gets an EZA, that copy is going to be able to move up further. So, yeah, lots of different weirdness going on with some of these units, and I'm not sure if I want to try and split this tag further into to be able to like itemize some of those situations for myself, so that I can have, you know, smaller pools of units that are collected for specific purposes. So I don't know. I'm working on that right now. It's been a big clusterfuck. Honestly, the thing that would help the most is if they just added more tags. If I could have 30 tags, then I would just make a tag for all these different little things that I'm trying to do. But yeah, so this is what it's looking like so far. Worst case scenario, if I do want to make another tag to hold on to units as the ones I was like describing, like in a separate place to be able to keep track of them, this would be the first tag to go, the free-to-play one. Because like I said, it is already all reflected in the Dokkan lineage tag here. And the reason why it was really appealing to have this was because for a moment there, I had everything fully rainbowed, fully link level 10, one in every slot for all of it, and now there's hundreds of units that have not had any hidden potential system investment yet, and that need to be link leveled. So this box does not look how it once did, right? With like the absolute perfection that's in here. So it makes me feel a little bit less like, you know, desired to have this tag. Obviously isn't like functionally usable for any purposes. It's just kind of there, right? I suppose if I specifically wanted to like make content on my YouTube channel covering specifically using free-to-play units, the way that Toon Rami does, where he'll try and, you know, beat challenging content with just free-to-play teams and stuff to show off that it can be done, then obviously having a tag like this would be very, very useful, just to be able to decipher which units are free to play. But if I was doing it for that purpose solely, then I wouldn't include the one in every slot, and I would literally make a team building tag, but just free to play, so all the top copies only, right? And this obviously is not that. So regardless, that's what that is. It is nice to be able to compare with my Dokkan lineage tag though, and see how many of the units in the Dokkan lineage tag are just free to play versus how many that I have actually summoned for, right? Because you can get a direct comparison of those numbers with both of these here. So I don't know, got some deciding to do. Been having lots and lots of fun moving all this stuff around, because I must remind you, it's hundreds or thousands of units every time we're doing something like this. So every time I decide to move a tag around or make a new tag or something like that, it's just like 30 minutes at minimum. Sometimes it's multiple hours to get all these selected, right? Like I literally had to scroll through and select 3,000 units, hand-picking all of these units, right? Obviously, we were sorted by character at the time, and I just had to manually select which ones I wanted in the box and which ones weren't going to be there, right? So this took a severely long time to get through. But yeah, that's more of what we have been up to. Hopefully, again, this is the last little, like, strugglesome bit that I will discover here, is the... Oh, I guess we got to go back into growth. You know, is all these LRs right here. So hopefully once we're done with this, that will again be the final little bit of grinding that we needed to do, and then we can actually get back to link leveling all day every day. Yeah, hopefully soon, because oh my goodness, the hiatus has been way too long at this point, and I'm starting to get very, very itchy. I've been spending a lot of time in some Discord servers where there are lots of dedicated power level grinders, and they are all just going absolutely ape. Obviously, I'm a couple million power level above the person that's right behind me. In fact, before we finish this up, since I'm talking about it, I might as well show this to you guys. Let me go ahead and show off the leaderboard in the Discord here really quick. I'll make a quick cut and then we'll head over there. Okay, so yeah, looking at the very tippy top of the power level leaderboard here, obviously there's a couple million separating all of us, so it's not like I'm, you know, in danger of somebody just passing me up or whatever. I do have a couple mil of a kind of a gap here, so the little break that I've been taking isn't hurting my positioning on the power level leaderboard much. You know, ultimately, and when it comes to these top power levels, it really isn't even a race for time. It's mostly just depends on the strategy that you're using, and the strategy that I intend to employ is going to be the one that can accumulate the most possible power levels. So even though these players might be moving a little bit quicker than me at the given moment, I think ultimately by the time all is said and done, I will have the highest power level. At least that's the hope, right? The one question mark on that is Migate, which we've talked about extensively over the last few videos, so I won't say anything more about it here. But yeah, so I've just been seeing a lot of this, and then obviously this is the little personal data page that you can see each time the bot updates and pulls more info from the servers, you can I think that happens like every 2 or 3 days, then yeah, you can see like how much gains you've been getting. So as I scroll through this chat, every day I see more and more people posting their data and see how much power level other people are gaining, and it's all outpacing me right now because I'm not grinding the way that I ought to be, right? So yeah, big unfortunate, but is what it is. We're going to be back there soon. Very, 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 very soon. We will be back on top with the power level grinding. So, all right. Well, that is basically everything that I've got for you guys today. Thank you so much for listening to me rant. Again, let me know what is going on with your Dokkan account. Let me know what you are extensively grinding these days. Let me know how the reverse update has affected you, or if it's been purely a positive for you because of all of the new benefits in game with the super attack leveling and the hidden potential system feeding and all of that stuff. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and finish it up here. I got to get back to grinding. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.